Good evening. I would like to reconvene the school board meeting of October 13th, 2020. We opened earlier with executive session. Invocation and pledge tonight, Member Kraus.
Thank you. I was cleaning a daughter's bedroom and found this old chicken soup for the teenage soul, and it popped right open to this, and I thought I would share because I think it's so appropriate. It's called Children's Eyes. What kind of world is it, my friend, that little children see? I wonder if they see God first because they just believe. Do they see strength in caring eyes who watch them as they play? Or maybe love through gentle hands that guide them on their way? Do you think they dream of future times when they would be a king, or just enjoy their present life while with their friends they sing? Do they see the acts of kindness done for people who are poor? Is the very best in everyone what they are looking for? And when the day is over, as they close their eyes to sleep, do they look forward to tomorrow with its promises to keep? If this is what the children see, then it should be no surprise. The world would be a better place if we all had children's eyes. And that's by Tom Kraus. If you'll please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that all school board members, superintendent, clerk, and school board attorney are in attendance this evening. Board members, the roll call order for this evening is Dr. Calderon, Member Sanchez, Member Kraus, Vice Chair Pennock, and then myself. I don't see any forms indicating that someone would like to be acknowledged for their presence. Superintendent, do you have any agenda modifications?
Just one, Madam Chair. The addendum for good cause is marked on our electronic agenda by a green flag named addendum item.
Thank you. Board members, any agenda modifications? Dr. Calderon?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Member Sanchez?
No modifications, thank you.
Thank you. Member Kraus?
No modifications.
Thank you. Vice Chair Pennock?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, and I have no modifications. Is there a motion to approve the agenda outline?
Motion to approve.
Second. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Dr. Griffin, presentations?
Yes, we're going to start this evening with Maureen Scanlon and the Let's Read Seminole winners. Seems funny not going down to shake hands.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair, school board members, and Dr. Griffin. I want to thank you for your continued support of our summer reading initiative, Let's Read Seminole. We had a unique summer experience with COVID-19, but with safe social distancing practices and the support from our schools and our community, we were able to get books in the hands of many of our students, some of whom expressed visiting the Big Red Bus this summer was the best part of their day. This summer, we did not circulate books, but instead, each student was able to select a book or two to add to his own or her own personal library. We gave away more than 3,200 books. Students were encouraged to submit reading logs and document their summer reading for an opportunity to enter into a district drawing. And tonight, I am extremely proud to present the 2020 Let's Read Seminole District winners. First, I'd like to take a minute to thank UDT and the Department of Teaching and Learning for donating gifts to recognize our students. Now, on to our district winners. Our first student is Lola Washington, a 4th grade student from Altamont Elementary School. Next, we have Vera Escada from Hamilton Elementary School. Carter Thomas from Highlands Elementary School. Ari Scher from Lake Orienta Elementary School. Kamori Reeves from Teague Middle School. and Zarialis Mijas from Tuscaloosa Middle School. I would like to conclude by giving special thanks to our parents, teachers, and administrators who support and encourage our students to read throughout the summer. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And board members, our next presentation is from Demetria Faison, Math Quest winners.
Right, we're going to start out first by sharing our commercial that we publicized on our district website over this summer. And thank you, Jed Ackerman, for the commercial.
Summer is almost here, and as we come out of isolation, we'll have more time to spend attending cookouts, playing games with friends, and enjoying our favorite hobbies. But why not use some of that time to exercise your mind by participating in the SCPS Math Quest? You could earn points by doing fun activities such as making a map of your dream classroom, surveying your family about their favorite ice cream, or building your own tower of pasta. And those points could translate to big prizes in the fall. Find out more about the SCPS Math Quest by visiting the website today.
All right, thank you, Jill. So good evening, board members, Dr. Griffin, and guests. The Seminole County Public Schools Math Quest encouraged students in grades kindergarten through 8th grade to investigate mathematics in the real world by completing a series of fun and engaging activities throughout the summer months. The goals of the challenge were to increase students' love for mathematics, to help students apply math skills in everyday activities, to boost math confidence, and to increase math problem solving in grades and students in grades K through 8. Tonight we celebrate our 14 Math Quest winners. Each winner will receive an Amazon Fire HD8 tablet, a $20 Amazon gift card, and a celebratory yard sign. I would like to thank the Secondary Education Department, the Department of Teaching and Learning, and the Foundation for Seminole County Public Schools for your generous sponsorships. And the winners are, from Bear Lake Elementary School, Carter Perales. From Bear Lake Elementary School, Keisha Kumar. From Evans Elementary School, Joseph Mully. From Geneva Elementary School, Lila Roth. From Goldsboro Elementary School, Arian Shaw. From Highlands Elementary School, Ryan Scallis. From Highlands Elementary School, AJ Scallis. From Jackson Heights Middle School, Ian Topper. From Keith Elementary School, Rosalind Pisani. From Rainbow Elementary School, Emily Stone. From South Seminole Academy, Tiana Clark. From South Seminole Academy, Jocelyn Bobe Zayas. From Wilson Elementary School, Chloe Kusick. From Wilson Elementary School, Jacob Kusick. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last and certainly not least, Siobhan Pitters is going to present our Positive Behavior Support Model School recognition.
Good evening, School Board. Dr. Griffin, thank you. I have the privilege of sharing with you this evening the model schools for 2020. Florida PBIS model schools are recognized for their ability to demonstrate improved outcomes for students through the implementation of positive behavior intervention and support programs. To be considered for model school status, schools must demonstrate the impact of the Florida PBIS programs on the climate and culture of the school. Seminole County partners with the University of South Florida to implement this framework for behavior. Tonight, we recognize 12 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and 1 high school who have excelled and therefore achieved statewide recognition. A model school meets specific criteria and reports innovative, successful methods of supporting positive behavior while operating their PBS framework of behavior with fidelity. Florida's project awards model schools at 3 levels: bronze, silver, and gold. Bronze level schools implement positive behavior at Tier 1 for all students. A system of expectation and support sets them apart. Congratulations to our bronze model schools. Childs Middle School, Dr. Melissa Miladani, Principal, Diane Taylor, Assistant Principal, and Cheryl Zilowski, PBIS Coach. Evans Elementary School, Carol Darnell, Principal, Stacy Hardy, Assistant Principal, Karen Wells, Sam, and Amanda Giamaldo, the Committee Chair for PBIS. Greenwood Lakes Middle School, Breezy Erickson, Principal, and Lauren Fetty, Dean. South Seminole Middle School, Dr. Coleman, Principal, Ms. Cliffine Reed, Assistant Principal, Ronald Motley, the Coach, Ming Kung, Lead, Crystal McElvoy, Member, Lance Alt, Member, Vanessa Muldrow, Member, Yasina Soto, Member, and Joyce Rivera, Member. Stenstrom Elementary School, Dr. Jacob Novak, Principal, Marissa Ellis, Guidance Counselor. Wilson Elementary School, Mr. Gard Harold, Principal, Jamie Barrero, Assistant Principal, Kelly Rydell, Sam, Jennifer Ellis, PBIS Coach. Winter Springs High School, Mr. Gaffney, Principal, Lisa Lord, the PBIS Coach, Dr. Carpenter, the Assistant Principal, Angel Collins, the Sam, Linda Salween, Carrie Crow, Joseph Kaminsky, Paula Vickers, Frederick Fammy, Courtney Doherty, and Paula Lohman. A Silver Model School. Take the next step, drill down into their data, and ensure Tier 1 systems are effective for all students, and have taken the steps to build systems of support for students at Tier 2. Congratulations to our Silver Model School, Hamilton Elementary. Mr. Pfeiffer, Principal, Steve Miller, Behavior Support, Linda Crawford, the Instructional Coach. And our Gold Model Schools this evening. Gold level schools report all of the characteristics listed previously. They implement with the highest fidelity and have developed supports at Tiers 2 and 3. Gold levels exceed expectations in quality and depth of implementation across all 3 tiers of support. Congratulations to our Gold Model Schools, Carillon Elementary, Mr. Windish, Principal, Ashley Haney, Castleberry Elementary School, Ms. Lambert, Principal, Mrs. Walters Clark, the Assistant Principal, Teresa Japp, Gary Lowe. Crystal Lake Elementary, Mr. Carver, Principal, Jeff Fozay, Assistant Principal, Brenda Knight, Nicole Farley. Heathrow Elementary School, Mr. White, Principal, Kayla Cromer, Lynn Bailey, Jill Carver, Lavinia Havner, Susan Helkides, Kristen Kirby, Ann McCarthy, Michelle Smith. Lawton Elementary, Dr. Durius, Principal, Lindsay Todd, Assistant Principal. Redbug Elementary, Christine Sharp, Principal, Julie Youngblood, Kindergarten Teacher, Deb Johnson, Andrea Freskia, Tricia Griffin, Casey Berkheimer, Libby Swanson, Jason Fox, Pam Broom. Sable Point Elementary, Dr. Langdon, Principal, Stephanie Getty, Mr. Mays. Spring Lake Elementary School, Kelly Mitchell, Principal. Congratulations to all of our model school recipients, and each school will receive a plaque for their participation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Russi, Superintendent Search Update, please.
Well, good evening, board members and Dr. Griffin, and thank you for the opportunity to provide you an update on your superintendent search for our next superintendent, replacing Dr. Griffin. First off, I just want to remind everyone that the website for our superintendent search, the web page is live now on our district website. On that page, parents and community can find the timeline, survey data that was provided to the board, our brochure, our advertisement, a variety of different information that will be available, also including the resumes that have been submitted. As we start getting those, we'll begin to post those for the community to review also. As you're aware, the board approved the timeline and started the advertisements for the superintendent search beginning September 30th. It'll run through November 13th. And we placed the ad nationally in a variety of areas. I'm just going to run through so you and the rest of the community can hear. And we've advertised with Education Week, which is a national magazine, schoolsuperintendentjobs.com, the School Superintendents Association, AASA, I Hire School Administrators, FASA, FSBA, the National Alliance of Black School Educators, the Association of Latino Administrators and Superintendents, LinkedIn, and Michael sent our advertisement and brochure to all sitting superintendents to share with their leadership teams throughout the state of Florida. So far, we've had 12 individuals express an interest in the position. As of today, we've received 7 completed application packets available at this point. And these applicants come from a variety of areas. They come from Florida, obviously, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Texas, Ohio, Georgia, New Jersey, and North Carolina. So at this point, the last thing I'd like to make you aware of, and just a reminder, at the October 27 board meeting, we'll be bringing the Superintendent Search Community Advisory Committee membership to the board for approval. After the board approves that, we'll have our first committee meeting November 5th, and that will be our orientation meeting. They'll be getting a variety of information, and we'll really start the process moving forward. And if there's any questions, I can answer those.
Board members? Thank you, Mr. Rusty.
Thank you.
Vice Chair, please read the public comment statement.
The public input segment of this meeting is provided for the purpose of permitting persons to present specific matters to the board for its consideration and action or referral to the superintendent and his staff. The public input segment of this meeting is not open to presentation of campaign issues by political candidates, matters involving student disciplinary action, pending employee disciplinary matters, or pending litigation. Each individual member of the public is limited to 3 minutes. A designated group representative may have up to 6 minutes. And if you would approach the podium after Chairman calls your name, please don't touch the podium to respect safety.
Thank you. We have 3 persons requesting to speak: Mr. O'Donnell, Mrs. O'Donnell, and Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, you'll have 6 minutes as you represent SEA. Ms. O'Donnell. Good evening.
Evening.
Please say your name for the record.
My name is Brent O'Donnell. Okay. My name is Brent O'Donnell. I'm here to talk to you about my experience with dyslexia. My first memories of elementary school in Texas are of me loving math and science, but when my teacher told me to write anything, I wanted to scream. Writing was a punishment. I knew the words that I wanted to say in my head, but it took so much energy and thought to put it on paper. I have to stay after school or come home just to finish a few lines. Then I would spend all week studying my spelling words, only for me to forget them the next week. The spelling word process started again the next week, and I just felt defeated. I started to compare myself to others as I got older, and I knew I wasn't the same as students in my room. Then I identified as having dyslexia, and everything changed. I knew I wasn't alone, and I learned how to spell and write words. I am now a junior at Oviedo High with a 4.0 GPA in honors classes. I'm on the robotics team, and I'm on my 3rd year of Foundations of Coding and plan on taking my Microsoft test in the spring. I had the help and resources I needed to get where I am today. I hope that by helping others know about dyslexia and know how to get the right services, how their lives can change too.
Great job. I look forward to seeing you at graduation.
Hello, my name is Ann O'Donnell, and I'm the proud mom of 2 daughters with dyslexia. I'm currently attending the University of Florida working on my dyslexia certificate, and I'm here to recognize October is Dyslexia Awareness Month. My daughter represents the 1 in 5 individuals that have dyslexia, and without proper remediation, their path can be more challenging than what it truly needs to be. The most common myth about dyslexia is that it is a vision issue, where people often think that individuals with dyslexia see letters, they read letters backwards and read it backwards. The fact is that it is not a visual issue, but an issue of wiring of the brain. Individuals with dyslexia struggle with spelling, processing, and decoding of reading and writing. However, most dyslexics tend to have an average to above average IQ. Famous dyslexics such as Albert Einstein, Thomas Edison, and Steven Spielberg, to name a few. While there are many other symptoms, the message that I wanted to share is that Florida is behind in helping our 1 in 5 students with being screened and getting appropriate help. My daughter was one of the lucky ones, she would tell you, because she was in the state of Texas at the right time. The reality is that she would not have received these services under the laws of Florida. With 2020 being the year of science, the science of dyslexia shows that without explicit, multisensory, systematic remediation that dyslexic students need, many students will not receive the proper help to put them on the right path. While October is Dyslexia Awareness Month, dyslexia is a daily issue for our family and for many others. I hope that SCPS continues to raise the bar for other districts and help our dyslexic students get on the right path. My daughter is proof that the money and the effort is worth it in the end.
Very much. Mr. Smith?
Good evening. My name is Dan Smith. I'm an employee of Seminole County Public Schools. I live in Longwood, Florida, and I'm currently the president of the Seminole Education Association, the teacher association for the teachers of Seminole County Public School. I'm here to talk tonight about the workload excessive that our teachers are handling right now. I've said it before, they're hurting. I speak to dozens of them daily, and many of them now at this point can't even get through a phone call without bursting into tears. It makes it even worse when I don't get the call, that I get to hear the crying on my voicemail. Now, what started off well is, I thought, a pretty good plan of options for the students and options for the teachers started to go a little off the rails by about the second week or so. And nobody's at fault. This has never been done before, and I think a lot of good planning and thought was put into it. But I was a little disappointed with the follow-up and the monitoring of the stuff here. We have too many situations here with the face-to-face and the Seminole Connect combos that are just blossoming out of control. Now, this week in particularly, with the return of some 4,500 students back into face-to-face, we were looking for some type of transitional plan, whether it be hiring more people, whether it be moving them to different teachers or so forth, but the teachers only found out that they were just going to have more students in the class. And I'm asking, again, that we need to be creative with this, and we need to go beyond whatever leadership autonomy you want to have there and come up with a district plan so we have some consistency from school to school, all right? There's a pandemic going on, and that really should be the priority. Any time that we have a threat to public health and comes in direct conflict with fidelity of education, I feel you have an obligation to side with what would be the public health and be that case. With the exception of maybe the class of 2021, any of our second, third, fourth, fifth grade kids, they're going to make it up. They've got plenty of time to make up, to get their instruction, to get the stuff in. But right now, at this point in time, we've got a serious problem. And I really do feel that the public health must prevail in this case. Now, although the governor and the education commissioner did trample across the local authority, and it's unfortunate, and when you ordered the parents to give them a choice, you did give them a choice. You gave them many choices. So as far as anybody's concerned, and that would include the FEA, who I consult with, the Florida Education Association, the district has fulfilled their requirement. It doesn't mean that every single one has to come in, but you have offered them. But you don't have to allow unrestricted return to the class. Unrestricted return is going to bring up these numbers very high, what we're seeing right now. And you don't have to have it to make it safe, and I think the parents are certainly going to understand this. I'm asking you to please reduce these combo classes. There's no reason to have so many of them, okay? In any particular school, you could have teachers. For example, you could have 5 fourth grade teachers all teaching face-to-face and Seminole Connect when it's not necessary. You could better off have 4 face-to-face and 1 pure Seminole Connect. The Seminole Connect could be larger as you don't have a safety issue, and you would have a better chance of instructing, and you would still be able to keep the fidelity of education. And I understand the logic of the ease of the transition, and during pre-plan I thought it was a fantastic idea. what did I know? So even a class where you might have 15 face-to-face kids and 10 Seminole Connect kids, you're only going to educate and teach those 15 face-to-face kids. It's not the teacher's fault. They can't do it. It's two different things. It really is being in two different places at the same time, which defies science for the most part. We really got to try to get that down. They're not getting the support that they need. We're getting a lot of our teachers being asked why so many kids are failing. And if that doesn't help you realize that the combos aren't working, then just take a look, consider the fact that teachers have no chance of finishing their work even though they're trying. And when you add this to the fact that the SLAP that we got our 20-year veterans, we're only getting about a $500 raise, which is probably going to wind up being less than the increase of the health insurance that they're going to be paying this year, it makes them struggle even more. And they're at the end of their rope. Absolutely the end of the rope. And if the Seminole teachers are at the end of their rope, you have to imagine that can't be very good for our students. So I'm not asking, I'm begging. I'll lay down. I've got no dignity left here. School board members, Dr. Griffin, just help us. Please, please help us. Help us. We're trying to get this done. Forget the data. Forget the testing. Forget the targeting. There's plenty of time for that stuff. There's plenty of time for that. Slow it down. Please stop allowing students to return face-to-face unlimited whenever they want to. It can't be done. We can't have that large of classes, and we're not teaching the kids anyway. All we're doing is just getting frustration. Our teachers want to teach, and they want to be with their students. They're not miracle workers. They're close, but they're not. So please, let's cut back on the number of the combos, the face-to-face Seminole Connect. Let's find a way to stop the unrestricted flow back into face-to-face, and please, let's start treating our teachers with respect in the workplace. Stop giving them the successive load and then asking them how come the students are failing. I think you know the answer to this. We need help. Please, we need help. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Essie, do you want to address that? Mr. Smith, can you give the specifics to Mr. Essie so he can follow up? If you have like specific classrooms that you want to share with him that he...
Specifics of what?
When you're saying there's a classroom with a problem with numbers, can you give him the specific classroom, teacher, school, so he can follow up and address it?
Mr. Rossi, I'd gladly send you that. I could look through my bag and find if you want a specific person. I mean, what I would recommend, go into a school and throw a rock, and you're going to find teachers that have combos. If you have a whole elementary grade team that's doing Seminole Connect and face-to-face, which there is, I can give you a list of names and that stuff, but just I think you know it exists. Okay, we're asking just to somehow come up with a different way. The Seminole Connect teachers who are doing it pure will take more students up because they don't have to have the issue of keeping them apart, but the ones that are in the classroom have to have this information done. Elective teachers specifically are hurting, and I understand that that's a little bit different than the academics and everything, but some of those numbers starting to swell up a little bit too. So again, request is just, I know it's work, and I know it's easy for me, who doesn't have to do the work, to say, please do the work. I feel like an idiot saying that, okay? But I don't know what to do. I mean, we have a teacher shortage already, and we have teachers who are throwing their arms up in despair. I would gladly work on this when anybody needs to work, but I just don't have anything. I don't have anything else but to ask, just because I don't know how to run a school.
Thank you.
But I know that we need less kids in there or some type of restriction.
Mr. Rossi, does class size apply for Seminole Connect?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I think part of what Mr. Smith is bringing up is happening over time.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is that more parents are sending their children back to school. Some folks that previously had full-time Seminole Connect, children have started coming back, which has required more teachers to come back. I know part of the solution, Mr. Smith mentioned, well, can't we just take everybody and take all these kids? Well, then you get into young kids, and I know, I don't know that that's the most sound educational practice, to take kids and constantly switch their teachers to try to filter it down to the next group. But class size does apply. So even when we're bringing more kids back, we're not bringing them above the class size limits when you combine the number of students that are actually face-to-face in the classroom and the kids that are sitting at home that are still doing Seminole Connect. I'll be happy to look at any that Mr. Smith provides me that are out of compliance and those kind of things. I think beyond that, I'm not sure what else we're asking for. I think at the end of the day, this week we had over 4,000 students choose to return to school. There is a period of time where that's difficult for schools. They are literally rescheduling again.
Sure.
And Mr. Smith is correct. It's a challenge. Our administrators are challenged, but they're doing a really good job if they get time. Is it perfect the day everybody walks in? Possibly not, because again, when you start looking at numbers, sometimes not everybody shows up that said they were going to come. So you have to constantly try to work at that. They're trying to do that. It takes a week or so to get it all in place. But if there are things that are really out of compliance and those kind of things, I think it'd be helpful if you just provide me that information. I can get directly with the principal, because talking in broad terms, it really is a school by school, classroom by classroom issue. You really can't make a broad statement and apply it to everyone. It doesn't work that way. Also, the same thing when we get into which teachers have to return. It has to do with some folks have ADA issues and some have other issues. You have to look at individual circumstances when you make those decisions. You can't make a broad statement and say, this is what we're going to do. It's not appropriate.
Now, I'm not on Facebook, but I heard Mr. Smith, you had a post about some specific classes over the weekend. What classes were they?
What I didn't identify. I didn't think it was appropriate to identify the class. Teachers speak to me, as they are allowed to do, and there's a certain degree. My post was not for the teachers, it was to the parents. I thought the parents, it would be prudent for them to find out what the class size is, because a lot of them going in there don't realize what they are walking into. And I thought,
what prompted that post? What numbers?
What numbers?
What prompted the post? What numbers prompted you to post that on social media?
Okay, I spoke to a middle school teacher.
Is it the art teacher?
Pardon me?
The art teacher?
I don't know. Okay, middle school teacher, two of them that I referred to. And this one is a situation where they have, number of classes, 6 a day, and face-to-face, 2 of them are going to go above the 40s. Now, that's an elective class. I understand that the class size doesn't pertain to that, but I can't imagine how 42 can be a safe situation of going back into face-to-face.
And the only thing, and I don't want to get into debate in this form, but I will tell you, I did review it. What Mr. Smith brought up, that was brought to me by a principal. It was an elective teacher, which is accurate. The problem was the numbers weren't accurate. The teacher printed out a roster that was before, when you do scheduling, I know it's more complicated, but they do it in future scheduling so that it doesn't appear where the teacher. It didn't include,
the did not enrolls were on the list.
Correct.
The students weren't even physically there.
Were on the list still. So it appeared they had over 40 some odd kids, and they really didn't have those kids. And the same thing with the elementary teacher that was listed on there having over 27 students. When we looked at it, I couldn't find anybody that had 27 students, but it'd be helpful if you just bring those to us, let us look at them, talk about my concern, and I'll be honest with, and I'm just being totally transparent with you, is the statement in the post that said the district is not transparent with their information. I don't know of any case where the SCA or any other group has requested information about how, the numbers in our school. Right. If those numbers, or if that information is requested, we do provide it. Sometimes they don't get the information the way they would like it, or the information they would like, but that's not being not transparent. And sometimes you have to come back and clarify. But what was shared there, again, if you talk directly to us, we'll try to answer those questions, and we do want to resolve it. If that's an issue, that's something I want to address with all of our executive directors. We're constantly in communication with those folks. We want to make sure that we put teachers in the best position we can for them to be successful with our kids.
Doctor, I did ask 3 weeks ago, 3 times, and I had 3 different conversations with people, okay, about what the plan is for transparency, and the best I got was, we have to let the back end, we're going to see how it goes, and we'll hire some people. Now, forgive me, if that's what the district feels is transparent, then forgive me. I don't look at that as transparent. That was the reason that I'd added that on there. I didn't see anything definitive that could go back. I mean, if it's a scheduling issue, I think the time to have the scheduling issue would be the week before you send the kids back and not while the kids are in the class. It's not like it was a year ago. We're just trying to get the levels down. We're talking about a pandemic here, and we're talking about the effect it has on the teachers. And if the effect is on the teachers, it can't be good for the children's learning. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I'm sorry.
We aren't here to debate this evening. Ms. Krause, you and I have been to about 6 schools in the past 2 weeks, and you've been in many classrooms with me where there are Seminole Connect students and face-to-face. Are the Seminole Connect students not learning like we just heard?
That's not my observation.
Thank you. Okay, that's all.
Thank you, both.
I would just want to say that the class sizes for anybody that's listening, it's an average of the intermediate primary levels in elementary school. And so you can have a kindergarten class that may have 18 and another class that may have 20, and that's okay because they average it out. And same thing goes in middle school. And then it's just the core classes. And of course, I would like to see with all the Seminole Connect kids versus the kids face-to-face, what the difference for the grades are for the first 9 weeks. If possible, we can get that. Thanks.
Thank you. Superintendent, do you have a recommendation for the consent agenda?
I do, Madam Chair. My recommendation is that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We have no items removed for separate consideration, no disciplinary hearing disposition. Superintendent, do you have any unfinished business?
No unfinished or new business, and the 2 items in my report are read-only. The one item, board members specifically, item 10B is separation of the CARES Act, what we received as a district and what we received from the county commission, just to keep you posted.
Thank you. So board members, if you have anything to share, Dr. Calderon?
None of my committees met during the last 2 weeks, so I don't have any committee updates, but I'm active on our RFP selection committees.
Thank you. Member Sanchez?
First of all, we have 32 days left till the Art to Life, which is November 14th, and we still are in need of items, donation items, or sponsorships. So if anybody knows anyone that would like to donate an item that we can create a basket with, anything and everything is helpful, including gift certificates. It's to raise money for our fabulous art programs, and we're adding so many other things to it with digital animation and TV production, as well as so many solos and duets and instruments and theater. So it's going to be really neat, especially having the virtual aspect of it. And I think it's going to have a lot more people involved and bring awareness to the wonderful art programs that we have throughout our district. So they're going to showcase all different kinds of things. Also, before when we were talking, that's my only one I had, but I wanted to mention that I appreciate Dr. Griffin writing a letter to the commissioner on behalf of all of us, stating that we do not need any of this testing. FSA needs to go. EOC, our children have learning gaps, and I don't think this is acceptable to have any kind of testing, including the formative assessments that we're just overloading everybody with.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Member Krause?
Thank you. The Business Advisory Board met at Pinecrest Elementary, and we were treated to a tour. It was a fabulous visit. Mr. Augusto was just so proud. He's just so proud of that building. We learned during the Business Advisory Board there are 2 current openings. We had a resignation, and so if you know of anyone in the community, please send them. There's a link on the Seminole County Facebook page or main website too. And one of the things that they're talking about is the economy and what is education going to look like in the future. That we have a real estate agent that serves on the board, and she said, because of course the tax base is important to us to fund our schools and programs, and she said that the lenders are not going to let what happened in 2008 happen again. They will work with homeowners to keep them in their homes. They'll do 40-year mortgages. They are going to do whatever they can because they learned from their mistakes. So I'm pleading with you, if you know a Seminole County business that would be interested in serving, and we're also looking for someone with an economy background specialty. And the Children's Cabinet meets this week, and I'll have an update next meeting.
Thank you. Vice Chair Pennock.
The Seminole County Foundation Board met, as well as we had our golf tournament. Again, thank you to all of you for coming out and supporting it in person and in spirit. We raised over $80,000 for the foundation to be able to support the kids, the teachers, programs. And at our board meeting, the fiscal audit was presented, which is in your packet here for you guys to review. And I'm just really proud to say that I can't find the specific dollar amount on my in my board book really quickly, but we are so conservative with our money that I think it's 93 cents of every dollar goes directly to programming, which is above and beyond industry standard, and just tells the story that we are good with our fiscal dollars. So thank you for all your support that you give to the foundation. I appreciate it. The foundation appreciates it. Everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you. Insurance and Wellness Committee met. They are doing a 6-week fitness challenge in January. It's a one-time at this point in time, allowing employees to earn 1 point for Strive for 5 as a motivator and behavior changer. So there was a lot of support for that at the committee. Annual enrollment is October 5th through the 16th. The enrollment process is passive for this 1 year, meaning that if your information from last year is correct, it will just automatically roll up. You only need to log on if you wish to change your FSA contribution. And if you have any questions, reach out to Dawn Bonds, and she'll be glad to answer them for you. And I have Seminole County Human Trafficking Task Force meeting this week, and you know what that's all about. So seeing no further business, this meeting is adjourned.